Hello and welcome to the Learning Love Podcast. I'm Dr. Mark A. Hicks, author of the book Learning Love. It is possible to build the healthy, happy, thriving relationships you have always wanted. So let's spend some time learning love. Love is the answer. Now all we have to do is explore all the questions. And today's question is, how do we balance all the things that come with relationships? We have family, we have work, we have friends, we have community activities. Within family, we have maybe a spouse or partner, we may have children, we have parents, siblings. All of these people are family, nieces, nephews, cousins. All these people are family, and they all have their unique relationship. And when you start looking at all the different relationships we have that we want to maintain, that we want them to be healthy, we want them to be thriving, how do we keep all that in balance? Especially when we're talking about such a busy life. If we have a full-time career, maybe if you are married and maybe both spouses are working full-time careers, trying to take care of kids, trying to run a household, there's just a lot of busy stuff. Everyone's busy. Everyone's under stress. And so how do we balance all the things in life so that we can have that contentment, that we really do feel like we're thriving in relationships, that we feel like we're doing a good job raising kids, we're doing a great job in our marriage, that we are a good family member and a good friend and a good employee or employer, that we're doing the things right in life, that we can feel like I am making a difference in these relationships and my relationships are thriving. In a busy life, it's hard to do that. And so how do we live that balanced life? And not to mention, we also have to take care of ourselves. We have a relationship with us too. In fact, we can't really love other people unless we love ourselves first. I mentioned this a lot. Brene Brown's done some great work on this and great writing about it. There's a lot of researchers out there that have shown this. You can't really love other people unless you love yourself first. And so that's your most important relationship in many ways. You have to love yourself and have that time of taking care of yourself and keeping yourself in a good place as much as possible, in a thriving place of life, in order to have those thriving relationships with other people. So how do we balance all that? How do we take care of ourselves while the kids are screaming? Or how do we take care of work that has so many high demands and also have a great marriage? How do we do all of this stuff in life and keep it all balanced with limits on time and energy? Well, there's a trick to it. And it's really more of a mindset of understanding what the goal is. First of all, there's going to be a very important first step. We need to give up the idea that we're going to live a balanced life. It's just not going to happen, okay? There's too many challenges. Life is never going to be perfectly balanced. We're never going to find a place where we look around and think, okay, I'm spending exactly the right amount of time at work and doing a great job there. I'm spending exactly the right amount of time and attention with my spouse, with my kids, with my extended family. I'm spending exactly the right amount of time and energy taking care of myself, not to mention our community activities and all of those kinds of things. I've got myself organized so perfectly that everything is perfectly balanced in my life. That will never happen. Life isn't like that. And if you set that as a goal, you're always going to make yourself miserable. You're always going to fall short. You're always going to feel like you're somehow failing because you're not being everything you want to be in a particular area at a particular time. You may be doing a great job at work, but the family life has kind of not been what it should be lately, or what you want it to be, because you're spending so much time at work. Or maybe, you're really hitting on all cylinders at home. Things are just great. But then you realized, you really haven't called that friend in a long time. You haven't really reached out and touched any of the lives of your friends in forever, because you've been so focused on work and your home life that you don't remember the last time you talked to your best friend. And it is just not possible to balance everything perfectly all the time. It's not going to be. So the first step is to give up on that. Don't even worry about it. It's going to be out of balance. That's okay. But we're not going to give up on the idea of balancing. There's a nuance there. We're not going to live a balanced life as if we're done. We fixed it. Everything's there. It is a constant progression and activity of balancing life. It's a constant activity of balancing. So when we have this mindset, it puts us into an idea that we are never failing. We're just monitoring and we're adjusting. We never fail at balancing because we know it's going to get out of balance. We understand that. That's just what life is. Sometimes work is going to be very demanding, and that's okay. We can put more time and effort into that. And if we have a healthy family life, they're going to support that because they know that's important, but only temporarily. And so, yes, work is out of balance. That's okay. But there has to be a time that we bring it back into balance, and we make up for that time by making sure we spend extra time with the family, making sure we take that family vacation, make sure we do something that sort of rekindles that family life that was maybe put on the back burners for a moment. That's okay, temporarily, but doesn't stay there. It's brought to the forefront and it becomes the priority. And maybe we haven't called that friend in a long time. That's out of balance. That's okay. We make an effort. We put it on our calendar. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm blocking off some time. I'm calling that friend. We're going to catch up. Balancing is a constant state of life, and that's okay. We never fail at that. We're always in the process of monitoring, looking at what's going on in our life, paying attention to what's taking the most time and effort and energy, and what's maybe missing out, what's not getting the attention that it deserves. And that's always okay temporarily, but it's not okay permanently. If we spend too much time at work for a week or two, our family will support that. If we spend too much time at work for a decade or two, our kids grow up and they don't know who we are. There's a big difference between a short-term out of balance and a long-term. We need to keep them short-term, and that's perfectly fine. We bring it back into balance. And so let's take a look at what we're balancing. What is it that we're working on that we need to keep in balance? Well, obviously, there's family, there's work, there's friends, there's community, and that can take a lot of different forms. Maybe your sense of community comes from being politically active, or maybe your sense of community comes in volunteering at a nonprofit, or maybe your sense of community comes through being active in your church, in your community, or maybe all of the above. There are different ways to be involved in the community and be part of making where we live a better place. And that can take place, obviously, in your town or your city. For some people, they have a national community. They're active on a national level. Some people are active globally. They're making a difference around the world. That's a rare person, but it exists. Some people are having an impact around the world because they are part of a global community leadership. But whatever it is, we all have a community. And we need to be a part of that, build those relationships, and help that community thrive. And then there's the relationship with us, the self-care, taking care of ourselves in order to take care of others, being good to ourselves so we can be good to others, loving ourselves first so that we can love others. And so we have basically these 5 areas. They can vary at different points of life. They can be different for everyone. It's not a rigid thing that everyone has this. Maybe you don't have family. Maybe your sense of family comes through your friends. Maybe if you don't have a spouse and children, your parents have passed on, you are living life not with the traditional sense of family, but your friends have become your family. You've built a community of family around you in your friendships. That's just as valid. That's just as much a family definition as any. Those are just as loving relationships. Those are equally loving relationships. It just creates a little different dynamic. So it can look different ways for different people. But in general, we're talking about these 5 areas: family, work, community, friendships, and self-care, the relationship we have with ourselves and our own well-being. Again, we're not going to balance that perfectly. It's not going to happen. And so we always have to monitor these 5 areas. Always be looking at them. Pay attention to them. What's doing well? What's going well for you? Where are you putting energy at the right amount where you can say, yeah, that's going well, but this over here is not? There's always going to be one of those, maybe 2, maybe more. And that's okay. Start formulating an idea of how you can sort of ramp up the energy in those areas. And maybe you have to ratchet back just a little bit. Take half a day off work sometime in order to spend an afternoon with a friend or to volunteer at a community function. All of these things just have to be navigated. Not easy. It takes some work. It takes some planning. It takes some paying attention, mostly, and some understanding of how all these things work. But when we pay attention to all of these areas and we see which one is thriving, which ones are doing okay, which ones need some help, we can kind of go to those areas that need help and bump them up a bit every now and then so that we are constantly balancing, knowing that if we put more energy in that area, there may be a little lacking over here in this other area temporarily. That's okay. That's going to be easy for some people because you're fine with the sense of chaos. You don't mind it. You're all right with it. You're going to take a look and you're going to say, this is working well. This is not working well. I'll put some energy here. That feels good to you. For some people, this is going to be dreadful. You want it to be balanced. You want everything to be organized perfectly. You want everything to be distributed in the right way. And I would love that for you, but you're going to have to let go of some of that. You can get it pretty close sometimes, but don't beat yourself up. All right? That's what I'm trying to get to mostly. Don't beat yourself up. Don't bring this into an area of guilt when it's not perfectly balanced. It may be what you want. You may not be able to fully give up on the idea of a perfectly balanced life, but give up on beating yourself up for it. Give up that habit of feeling bad about yourself because it's not perfectly balanced. There is going to be a certain level of chaos in life, and that's okay. Life is just unpredictable. And so always be balancing. Understand those 5 areas. Understand they're all important, and they need attention on certain levels. Now, obviously, our family is priority, work is priority. Some of these other things may not be of the highest priority, but they might be. People live different lives. But whatever your priorities are, make sure you understand that and you're putting your energy in that area. And when a place starts lacking, put some energy there, put some time there, put a plan together to boost that one up that's been lacking, understanding that it's okay that it's been lacking a little bit. That's not a bad thing if it's temporary. Just don't leave it lacking. When you leave it lacking for a long period of time, you can lose those relationships. You can lose the connection. You can lose the idea of a thriving relationship in that area. It can fall into dysfunction, or you can lose it altogether because relationships have to have time. They have to have energy. And so get into a mindset of balancing, not balanced, balancing, monitoring what's going on in your life. What kind of life do you want with your family? What do you want at work? What kind of friendships do you want to have? What kind of connections do you want to have in your community? And what kind of life do you want to live in yourself with your own fitness, physically, mentally, emotionally, to be a healthy, happy, thriving person yourself? What do you need to do to make that happen? And so when one starts lacking, put some energy there in order to build that up. And let me give a little tip of how this will probably go. The one that will probably be lacking the most, or the most easily put on the back burner, the one that you will look as you evaluate and think, which one's missing? Which one's not really thriving? Which one's not getting the energy and the attention it needs? In most cases, it's going to be the energy you put into your own life, yourself, your self-care, your own mental, physical, and emotional fitness. When we let something go on the back burner, it's usually ourselves, and that is a mistake. When we put ourselves and our own well-being on the back burner in order to put energy into all these other things in the name of living a balanced life, trying to get everything together and put all the energy we can into all these other areas, when we do that, we are going to run out of energy. If you want to get as close as you can to a balanced life, if you want to thrive in that balancing, make sure that you don't put your own self-care on the back burner. That is a real temptation that many people fall into because, listen, if the kids aren't getting attention, they're going to scream at you. If your spouse isn't getting attention, you're probably going to know it. If you're not doing something at work, your boss is going to let you know. If the community isn't getting what they need from you, somebody's going to be calling and say, hey, could you help us out with this? There's a lot of people that are going to be making demands on you. That's okay. But we need to make sure we are keeping ourselves as a priority in order to meet all of those obligations and those responsibilities of life that lead to a thriving life. And so don't put yourself on the back burner. When you're balancing, make sure that your own self-care is a priority, that is as high a priority as all of the others. It is just as much a priority as your family, your work, or anything else in life. Make sure you put that as a priority as well as you're balancing all 5 of these areas. You do that, it'll never be perfectly balanced. Let yourself off the hook. Don't beat yourself up. Don't bring guilt into it. Just adjust. As you understand where the adjustment needs to be made, make that adjustment. And as you do that, things will come closer into balance. And it's a constant monitoring, a constant adjusting. And as you do that, you learn how to navigate that in a certain way. You build a really thriving life that way. So there's your 5 areas. Pay attention to them, monitor them, adjust them, put your energy into focus where it needs to be in order to be balancing your life, and you can build a thriving life. So that's my thoughts today on how you can build the life that you really deserve in the relationships that you need and want in your life. As always, I hope you'll go to my website, markahicks.com. There's a link there to buy my book, Learning Love, Building a Life That Matters and Healthy Relationships That Last. I want to thank my producer, Abby Graves of Abby Graves Production, and I want to thank all of you for listening today. Until next week, love well, everyone.